Next weekend, it's Ford Championship weekend down at the Homestead Miami Speedway. NBC with live coverage of the season finales for the NASCAR Busch Series Saturday and the NASCAR Winston Cup on Sunday. BP's out at the Roush Racing Team Caliber 360 Racer.
You know, folks, heat is always a problem in the desert, keeping the fluids cool. Race cars are no different. That's why the radiator that keeps the water cool is much larger than a stock car, about 2 or 3 times as big. Also, the oil, that fluid tends to run hot. That's why they have to have the oil cooler, a small radiator here to cool the oil. In the back of the car, the gear also has fluid in the back. This is a pump that pumps fluid out of the gear into a small radiator. All the fluids in the cars have to be cooled. The people in Phoenix understand about keeping fluids cool, Alan.
Hey, another thing, BP, keeping the driver cool. This is a racetrack that the driver really gets a lot of heat from the car because of the temperatures, and it does get warm.
Plenty of sunshine in the Southwest today. Over 100,000 sun-drenched fans on their feet now for a restart that'll come with 48 laps to go. Matt Kenseth and Rusty Wallace, 2 tires only, now have the top 2 spots. Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, and Tony Stewart make up the rest of the top 6. $18 cars on the lead lap, so a lot of guys down in that inside lane below the lead lap cars for the restart.
Well, you want to get past these lap cars as quick as possible, because the faster you can clear the lap traffic, the guy behind you you're racing, if he gets hung up, you can just distance yourself because you've got the whole racetrack to work with, and they don't.
Matt Kenseth, that's what's going on with him. He's gotten away while Rusty Wallace was trying to mess around getting clear of Ward Burton.
Now Kurt Busch has the same problem, trying to get clear of Ward Burton.
See Jeff Gordon trying to come through, and Ryan Newman, 12 car, not on the lead lap, has jumped up there between Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon.
Wally, what do you think? 2 tires. Is that a pretty big gamble, you think, on Robbie Reiser's part?
I don't think so, because I've seen these guys take 2 tires, and it looks like their cars work good for 70 laps or so. So I think it's a great gamble.
Remember, back at lap 28, the 17 crew took just 2 tires, and he moved up from 10th to 5th at that point. Marty?
That's one of their points, Alan, and he's now set sail. Robbie Reiser, why just 2 tires?
Well, you know, it's probably our only shot here to get some track position and try to win this thing. So we put 2 tires on earlier, and it ran even better than what it did on 4. So why not roll the dice and go for it? If we lose because of 2 tires, it ain't because we didn't try.
He said earlier, hey, we ran this kid out of gas. He's lucky to be on the lead lap. We're going to go for the win. We got nothing to lose. Bill?
Jimmy Fennig, crew chief for Kurt Busch. How good is that car, and how much can a 1/10 of a pound of air pressure change help it?
Well, the car was pretty good, but we need a little bit more forward bite, so we had to make a change, you know. So we just did a little bit, so we'll just see what happens here.
A tenth of a
Well, like I say, just a little bit, because the car was pretty good.
I think that's all about driver confidence. His driver wanted to hear he was making a change. It was a 10th.
Yeah, I was going to go look at that gauge at Homestead next week to look. I think what Jimmy's saying is that they just took a little bit out, just a tiny bit. Here you see Jeff Gordon is working over that 12 car, and I'm sure Jeff's a little frustrated right now because that 12 car is a lap down.
Troubles for Bobby Labonte. Off the pace, was in 12th place. And if something's broken mechanically on that car, that's going to make some Joe Gibbs Racing people nervous.
Yes, because Joe Gibbs also owns the 20 car that Tony Stewart right now has in 6th place. That car, the 20 Home Depot car.
Bobby Labonte slow on the apron in between 3 and 4, but he will make it back around to the pit road. And you see the gap from the championship leader up to Matt Kenseth.
Gordon did clear the 12 car Newman. Newman gave him a break there coming off of turn 2.
Bobby Labonte has taken his car to the garage.
Those guys are really down on the apron now, BP. And I don't understand why Tony's down on the apron. If his car's loose.
Well, here's something we haven't seen in a while. Junior passing somebody.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., that 8 car that was so fast earlier on, moves into the 7th position. But he's 5 seconds behind Matt Kenseth. Can he get to all these cars and get to Kenseth? Even though we know he's very, very fast.
Junior led this race from lap 7 to lap 117 with the exception of a couple laps on an exchange of pit stops. Then they ran it out of fuel under the green flag. He fell back at that point at lap 117 to 13 seconds behind the leader, and he's not really been heard from since.
And you see Tony Stewart pointing Earnhardt by there down the backstretch. Tony put his finger out the window and said, go ahead and take me down on the bottom.
Because right now, Tony Stewart's back in 7th position. That's not too bad, concerned that Mark Martin is only in 5th spot. But what he doesn't want is just someone in their hurry to make contact and spin him like Christian Fittipaldi a moment ago. That could be disaster for Tony Stewart.
And he's not losing much in 7th place with Mark just running in 5th. So he's in very comfortable stead where the championship is concerned. 3rd place here. Jeff Gordon not quite able to get alongside.
Although I think, let's see. Jeff's car looks like it's working a little bit better than even it was before they made pit stops.
But he needs to let that car drift up off turn 4, and Kurt Busch is there.
Got to be careful not to drive in too deep, especially when you're down on the bottom, because if you go in a little bit too deep, you wind up right in the guy's door on the outside.
Behind them, Tony Stewart just gave up 7th spot to Dave Blaney in the yellow 77. Tony back to 8th, Dale Jarrett behind him next.
I tell you what, this battle between these cars, if this thing stays green, is taking their chance of winning away.
And Kurt really slid up there that time, BP. I think he may have gotten one a little bit too deep because he went up as high as I've seen him all day.
How about a little crossover move? Not able to make it stick. So Jeff Gordon to 3rd, Kurt Busch back to 4th, but they're well behind Matt Kenseth. Kenseth out in front of Rusty Wallace by 2 seconds. 35 laps to go at Phoenix on NBC. NASCAR on NBC from Phoenix International Raceway. Home Depot presents NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. Second to last race of the season. 29 laps to go. Matt Kenseth with a 2-tire stop a short while ago, getting track position and the lead. He's made the most of it, moving out in front of Rusty Wallace by 2.2 seconds. How about Tony Stewart, Bill? He's fallen back to 8th.
He has, Alan, and remember, first he was tight, then he was loose. Well, he just radioed in on this set of tires. I'm as tight as I have been all day. Tony Stewart has slipped back to 8th in the field, watching points slip away, trying to lock a Winston Cup championship and enhance his chances next week. So that's the story on the 20, and you can bet this team is certainly concerned with what happened to their fellow teammate, the 18 car, Dave.
And that is Bobby Labonte. He's already in his street clothes. Bobby, you had a long discussion with your motor builder, Mark Cronquist. What do you believe happened with the motor, and are you concerned for Tony?
No, some just came out the bottom end on it. It sputtered one time on the back straightaway and broke on the bottom end. I don't know what it could have been. There's a couple things it could have been, but anyway, it just blew up.
Okay, and remember, guys, this team's motto is 1 team and 2 cars, so we got to watch the 20. Make sure he's okay for the rest of the race.
Kurt Busch running 5th, being worked on by Dale Earnhardt Jr. These 2 drivers have dominated the front spot on the day. Earnhardt Jr. led 105 laps, Kurt Busch 117. Doesn't look like either one of them is going to contend for the win at this point unless a caution comes out and changes things around.
We're running out of time for these guys to get up and catch Matt Kenseth, because right now they're about 5 seconds behind.
I'll tell you what, when Kurt Busch has to run that real high line, he really loses a lot of grip and has to just regroup. That's the second time he's done that. I don't know if he's just getting in too deep or the car's just pushing really bad when he goes in high, but the same thing happened when Mark was racing him.
And just so you know, during that last break, Mark did get by Kurt Busch and pick up the 4th spot, so he's just ahead of these 2 now. Boy, what a mistake for Junior's team when that car ran out of gas back at lap 117. involved in an accident a short time ago. Dave Burns is with him.
Christian, you were just released from the medical center. How are you feeling? And tell us about the incident.
I'm feeling okay. Had a carbon seat inside the car, and I guess that helped me a lot. It was a pretty big hit. Number 7 was down the inside. I was a couple of laps because I had run out of fuel. So we were a couple of laps down. I just wanted to finish the race, and I don't know if he got distracted or something. He just ran into the back of me, spun me, and I went straight into the wall backwards.
We're glad you're okay. Remember, Christian mentioned the carbon seat. The Petty's one of only a couple of teams that are running a new design carbon fiber seat, and Christian credits it.
Fittipaldi joining Bobby Labonte, Scott Wimmer, and Tony Raines. Only 4 drivers out of this one. Haven't talked much about DJ today, BP, but he's having a good solid run.
Yeah, he's 9th spot, and he's about a half second behind Tony Stewart. Let's go on board with him. Let's check the visibility as we go on board the UPS car.
Ooh, DJ's tight.
Let's go down in turn 1 and drive into that setting sun and see if it's a problem. Oh, now we can see fine now. Fine.
There looks like fluid was hitting his windshield there, BP, off whoever's that car is in front of him. That's Tony Stewart. Could have swore I saw some spray coming on the windshield.
Matt, what is in the 88 pit?
Benny, he's been tight most of the afternoon. In fact, DJ told Todd Paradiscucci, I can give up a little on the off. You just need to help me in the center. It's just extremely too tight. They made both a track bar and wedge adjustment on his last stop. It's helped a little, but not a lot.
Yeah, just riding with him there a while ago into turn 3. You see, right when he gets to the center, the car moves up about a lane and a half. And he's got to wait on that. That's where you say diamond the racetrack. That's where you go in low, the car drifts to the center, you wait till it stops sliding, then you bring the car back down and get on the gas.
Dale Jarrett, the 97 winner of this race here in Phoenix, had a problem early in that race, got a lap down, and under green made up the lap, passed the entire field, and one going away.
Visibility is not too bad. Doesn't seem to have worsened any since we saw before.
I'm not sure those 2 grandstands down there in 1 and 2 hasn't helped that sun.
I really do believe that's the situation right there.
Dave Blaney trying to move up. Trying to get 6th place from Kurt Busch.
That 10th pound of air pressure that they made, that adjustment they made the 97 car, whatever happened, it just is not the same car it was before they made that pit stop.
Kurt Busch will end the day having led the most laps in this race.
Oh, baby.
And that was what I was talking about earlier. If that car on the bottom goes in too deep, you just wind up sliding into the car above you. And that's exactly what happened to Dave. He ran in there a little bit too hard, trying to pass the 97 car.
And now he better let the 97 driver calm down before he tries to pass him again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that settles down in 6th and 7th.
Try it on the high side.
Good day for Roush Racing. 11th is their worst entry.
And that's the guy that won the race the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Jeff Burton.
Plus the NASCAR Busch Series championship clinch yesterday here. All told, not too bad. Not too bad. Hurt Kurt kind of have to wait on the gas there just a second.